somewhere we have confined ourselves, to those uh, thoughts of Ambedkar, which are more important, for the purpose of the course. Therein, we try to understand his analysis of caste, how he would view untouchability, his approach towards religion, and his understanding that there are diversities in religious terms, but culturally one can find unity as far as India is concerned. So, we have discussed all these things, and especially the way he experiments with three different political parties, and his overall understanding that political empowerment would be important. So it is only through the means of political empowerment that desired social changes can be brought about. So that's where we come to his core idea that effective and adequate representation is the means to bring about changes, and these changes would depend upon the potential legislation, the potential legislation. And then, just a moment. Now, why I'm making this point, that we will find that, the whole emphasis of Ambedkar that eventually the depressed classes should be treated as a separate category. That possibly would be revised. Uh, and and let me also add here that the point has already been made that, when Ambedkar would use the term depressed classes, this would be to designate the category which would be treated then as untouchables. So that is how, he would address them, depressed classes. Now, this would be revised primarily because Ambedkar's deep faith and belief in the strengths of parliamentary democracy. So once India achieves independence and Ambedkar becomes member of the Constituent Assembly and chairperson of the drafting committee, therein, in my opinion, he would understand that the provisions can be made in the Constitution to safeguard the rights and interests of the depressed classes. And that is where he would play a crucial role in terms of giving effect to some of the provisions of the Constitution, wherein reservations would be guaranteed to the members of the depressed classes in government jobs, in educational institutions, and also in legislature. So that is something he was aiming to achieve, and that's what was achieved through the means of Constitution. So that possibly, in my opinion, is an explanation that, why Ambedkar would no more insist on treating the depressed classes as a separate category and independent of the Hindu identity. So that is something which we can add to the explanations that we have attempted thus far. Now, how overall changes can be brought about. I mean, this is one way wherein you have to have proper legislation in place, and since state power is there to ensure that laws are executed in the right earnest and the due is given to the members of the depressed classes. But how actually the changes may happen in the social sphere there. Now, therein we will find that as far as Ambedkar's approach is concerned, there are 4 or 5 things that Ambedkar identifies at the social level, and which, in his understanding, would would help overcoming the bondage of the feeling of untouchability, and that is where we find that while Ambedkar would have innate faith in the power of politics to bring about social changes, but he would also simultaneously endeavor to highlight those issues wherein the whole dimension of untouchability can be addressed in its psychological sphere. Now, that's what overall approach would be, right? And that's why, in my opinion, Ambedkar would so much give emphasis to the strengths of parliamentary democracy and the requirement and needs of having proper, adequate, and effective representation for the members of the depressed classes. So first thing he would say that, the point which is important to understand would be that the untouchables had come to accept their position in the society. So that is where the whole community would be identified not only by others to be distinct in some form of their behavioral pattern, but the community itself would view similar thing about itself, right? So that is where in Ambedkar's understanding, the first step in this direction can be taken by the untouchables themselves, right? So the identified pattern of behavior which would be associated with being untouchable, this is what in the first place had to be done away with. So that is where, in his understanding, untouchables, they should stop behaving in a manner which would be distinctly identified, or which would rather place them as a distinct category from others, right? So that is where, Ambedkar himself would suggest them that, say for instance, drinking, or say for instance, certain acts like, dragging the dead cattle, or eating something which would be given to them by others in the form of leftovers, right? So all these things, or say for instance, there were certain acts which would be very much specific to his own community. For instance, say for instance, Mahars, they were Mahars, the category or the community to which he belonged. They were known for their specific acts of entertainment, or doing entertainment for the people, right? So some shows in public places. So this is what he would emphasize, he would assert that in all these forms of behavior which were distinctly identified with the community, that should be stopped first. So that's where the image that had been internalized in the community, there should be a process through which the untouchables can slowly but gradually can come out of this mental bondage of untouchability. That would be the first thing that Ambedkar would emphasize, right? So distinct pattern of behavior which would be identified to be specific to the community, that has to be changed, meaning that the image has to be changed. Image of being an untouchable, that has to be changed. Second thing Ambedkar would understand, and this point we have referred to briefly earlier, that education would be the most important aspect in this direction. And in Ambedkar's understanding, Ambedkar would emphasize that education is not simply for the purpose of getting educated, right? Education is again a means through which people not only हेलो पीछे पीछे कुछ आवाज आ रही है ओके राइट हाँ so what he would emphasize that education, right? Education again not simply would be for the sake of education, rather than education would instill a feeling of confidence, right? Education would give a feeling of confidence to the untouchables, wherein they would be in a position to identify themselves with other members of the society. So education as a form of empowerment, education something in the form which would give them confidence and which would help them again coming out of this mental bondage. So that is something which would be important, and I have referred to that how Ambedkar had established People's Education Society, right? People's Education Society, which had worked for the education of the depressed classes, and especially by setting up hostels for them, wherein they can stay and they can carry on their studies. So that would be the second thing, right? Third thing Ambedkar would emphasize that as far as the representation is concerned, right? Again, this aspect is linked to his overall emphasis on the merits and strengths of parliamentary democracy. So Ambedkar would again emphasize that the leadership for the untouchables, they should come from the community only. And again, we have discussed this point, that why he would emphasize so. And while participating in the Constituent Assembly debates, Ambedkar would highlight this point, that while he would be for the unity of India, he supported unity of India, but this unity would become possible only when there is a desired level of equality in the society. So that is where he would say that, of course, he would accept that this would mean some kind of fractionalism in the society, but there was, of course, underlying cultural unity that he would accept. But in his understanding, this was required for two reasons. One, in his understanding, that only a member from the community could understand the impact of harshness that the person might have undergone, primarily due to his place in the society, which was not something of his own making. Right? So that is something Ambedkar would emphasize in the first place. And second thing, he would understand that as far as the whole aspect of representation was concerned, right? So the representation would be proper and adequate only when the community is represented by the member. So the member would think for its community. That is what his understanding would be, right? But of course, in my opinion, Ambedkar perhaps could not understand the limitations of the impact of political power as far as the member of the class would be concerned. So once politically empowered, then possibly the representative would act more as a member of the class rather than member of the caste. So that is something one can highlight. That is something possibly one can notice here. But this is how he understood that only a member of the caste would be in a position to safeguard the interests of the caste. So that is why he would emphasize so much on